this is 4.8, part 1. The first slide is a review from what we did on Friday. So simplifying radicals. What are 2 factors of 4? 2 times 2. And what do I do to simplify a radical? What do I do next? How do I know that 2 goes on the outside? Because there's a pair. So I circle pairs, and however many circles I have, that's how many 2's go on the outside. So I have 1 circle, so 1, 2 go on the outside. So 2 is my answer. All right, next one, 27. What are 2 factors of 27? 9 and 3. And 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. And this 3 is prime, so I'm just going to bring it down. What can I circle here? I can only circle 2 3's because I can only circle 2 at a time. So what comes to the outside?
3, 1.
A 3. And what stays on the inside? 3. The other 3 stays on the inside. So if it doesn't have a pair, it stays on the inside. What are 2 factors of 40? 10 and 4. If you said 5 and 8, you'll end up with the same answer. What are 2 factors of 4? 2 and 2. And 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2. What do I circle here? Circle 2 2's. Can I circle anything else?
No.
So what goes to the outside?
1, 2.
1 2. And what stays on the inside?
5 and 2.
5 times 2. And what's 5 times 2? 10. So it'll be 2 square root 10. All right, so we're going to do the middle one. What are 2 factors of 108? What is it? 12 and 9. Awesome. If you didn't know 12 and 9 were factors, since 108 is an even number, 2 goes into it. So you can just divide it by 2 to find what the other factor is. So if you said 2 and 54, that would work too. What are 2 factors of 12? 3 and 4. And 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. Can I break anything else down?
4.
The 4. What are 2 factors of 4?
2 and 2.
2 and 2. So I have 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. What am I going to circle? 2 2's and 2 3's. What comes to the outside? A 2 and a 3. What stays on the inside? 3. What do I do with the 2 and the 3 on the outside? Multiply. So since we have 2 numbers that came out, we have to multiply them together. So it'll be 6 square root 3. All right, so now we're moving on to 4.8, complex numbers. So it relates to what we did on Friday and the couple examples that we just did. So whenever we have the square root of a negative number, it's an imaginary number. So we can take the square root of -1, and that turns into I. And I is an imaginary number. If we had the square root of -1 squared, remember square root and squared cancel each other out, so this would just be -1. Same thing, I squared is -1. So anytime we have an I squared, we can turn it into -1 because -1's a real number, not imaginary, because it doesn't have an I. So we can get rid of an I squared and turn it into -1. So I squared turns into -1. So when we take the square root of a negative number, we do the same thing, but that negative on the inside comes to the outside and turns into an I. So if we have a negative on the inside, we can take it out and make it an I. Can I simplify the square root of 2? No. So this would just be I square root 2. Just like that. So we simplify it by taking the negative out from under the square root and turning it into an I. So this would be an imaginary number. All right, so here we have the square root of negative 36. So the first thing I want to do is take that negative out from under the square root and turn it into an I. And then I can break down 36. What are 2 factors of 36? 6 and 6. I could keep going and break it down more, but I already have a pair here. So I would circle the 6's, and what comes out? 6. So it'll be 6i. So you write the number before the I, or if it's a square root, you write the I before the square root. So notice the order here and the order here. So you would write the number before the I. All right, square root of negative 64. What should I do first? Take out the negative and turn it to an I. What are 2 factors of 64? 8 and 8. So we know 64 is a perfect square, so I could circle the 8's, and what comes out? So what would my answer be? 8i. Awesome. All right, next, the square root of negative 12. What's the first thing I should do? Take the negative out and make it an I. What are 2 factors of 12? 6 and 2. And 2 factors of 6? 3 and 2. Do I have any pairs? Pair of 2. So what's going to come to the outside? 2i, because I took that I out. So don't forget to write the I in your answer. What has to stay on the inside? 3, because it doesn't have a pair. So my answer would be 2i square root 3. All right, next we have square root of 54. What's the first thing I do? Take the negative out, turn it into an I. What are 2 factors of 54? 9 and 6. 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. 2 factors of 6? 3 and 2. What am I going to circle? How many 3's?
2.
I circled 2 3's. So what comes out?
3i.
Awesome. 3i. Don't forget, we took out the I. And then what stays on the inside? 3 times 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. So 3i square root 6. All right, so next, what's the first thing I should do? Take out the negative, turn it to an I. What are 2 factors of 32? 8 and 4. 2 factors of 8? 4 and 2. 2 factors of 4? And 2 factors of 4? So I have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I can take out 2 pairs of 2s. So how many 2's are coming to the outside? 2. But what did I already have on the outside? A 2i. And then what stays on the inside? Just 1 2 on the inside. So what do I do with all those 2's on the outside? Multiply. So what's 2 times 2? 4. And 4 times 2? 4 times 2. So it'll be 8i square root 2. So if you already have a number on the outside and you take out something else, you just multiply that number to whatever you take out.
So we can't be like 2 times 3.
Well, if, let's say we took out a 3.
No, like 2 times 2 times 2. Oh no, that should multiply.
All right, next. So here I already have a negative on the outside, but I do the same thing that I did before. We just have a negative in our answer now. So what do I do first? Take out the negative on the inside, turn it into an I. What are 2 factors of 75?
3 and 25.
Awesome, 3 and 25. 5 and I think it's 15 would work too. What are 2 factors of 25? 5 and 5. So what comes to the outside? So it'll be negative 5i. And then what stays on the inside? 3. All right, next one. What do I do first? Turn the negative into an I. And then break down what's on the inside. So what are 2 factors of 27? 9 and 3. What are 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. So what do I circle? Circle it. 2 3s. And then what comes out? A 3 comes out. So I already have a negative 4i on the outside times 3. What stays on the inside? 3. So how do I multiply this on the outside now?
Negative 12i.
Perfect. Negative 12i. So we just multiply the 4 and the 3. And then the negative and the I just stay there. So it'll be negative 12i square root 3.